Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, John Kibler, head currency analyst. In this video we're going to go through the Forex market wrap. We're going to go over those key levels of the week and just discuss a little bit what's been happening in the market. So big news that started or in the middle of the week was the FOMC rates, and obviously we saw in the press conference preceding that the Fed chairman Jerome Powell was very dovish on the US dollar, was talking a lot about the fact that they're not going to hike interest rates until 2024, which is a huge dovish statement, and we saw the dollar sell off quite aggressively from that. However, bonds have remained pretty strong. So typically when the bond market is moving higher, we see the dollar supported. And that's what we've kind of seen a little bit going on at the moment. We've seen a little bit of a divergence, I'd say, from the sort of what the Fed are talking about and what's actually happening in the bond yield market. And we started to see some interesting price action. I mean, it's been a little bit of a mixed week. If we take a look at euro dollar here, for instance, and go up to the weekly time frame, it is looking like it's going to close as a bearish week. However, there's not really been much range in terms of size of candlestick and size of movement. We've had a lot of range bound movement and lots of volume entering the market, but we haven't really seen any sort of momentum which is swaying us into either direction. This 119.57 area seems to be where the market's capped at the moment, and this major support here at 118.31 could be something that comes to be retested again coming into next week. Now this is a huge level on euro, and if we were to see price come back down to this point, I wouldn't be surprised if we did start to see that dollar selling come in and stepping in once again and seeing price move back higher. But at the moment, we've having this sort of accumulation here. Need to see or a breakout here in order to be on one side of the market or the other. But yeah, so euro dollar looking fairly flat here, and we spoke a little bit about this across the board, and we talked a little bit about Kiwi and the fact that we could be forming this head and shoulders pattern, and the fact that if we do get a close back within this previous candlestick range, could show us signs that price is going to start moving a little bit lower. And if we look at the daily time frame, price came up to this really high volume level, still technically here making lower lows and lower highs, and we've come back, retested that structure, driven prices have been driven lower. So I think if we are to see anything Kiwi's weakness, maybe something we take a little bit of a look at. But looking at this, we've hit that key level, price is now dropping. I would really like to see prices down into the 7013. That's just because if we take a look at this weekly time frame, if this head and shoulders was to play out, that looks the most obvious place for price to find some support. We have previous support in here, the most likely targets for longer term players in the market. Going on to silver then, silver was something that we spoke about. We were looking for a little bit more downside on this. So technically, if we're looking for some downside on silver, we're looking for some dollar buying, and we haven't really seen anything again. Very flat week, nothing's really going on. Price is rejecting this resistance level in here, but it's not really breaking to the downside either. So we need to just be a little bit patient with any kind of movement here. The reason why we were looking at this in the first place was because retail sentiment suggested that the retail market is heavily heavily long here, and typically retail traders are wrong. So if they're heavily long here, let's say they're heavily long and they're adding their positions in and around this point, their stop losses would typically be below these key lows, and institutions often drive prices below these low areas to either grab liquidity and move the price in the direction, or to just seek those areas and push price to the downside. So it's for me, it's a little bit of a one to watch, and we will check the retail sentiment on the Forex market outlook and see how that's changed over the week. But this could definitely still be one to watch going into next week. If that dollar strength is going to follow through, we should see a breakout here. One chart that I quite like the look of is the dollar versus the Norwegian krona. The reason why I like this chart is because obviously we've had this huge downwards move. That's pretty much due to the oil prices getting stronger, oil gets stronger, the Norwegian kroner gets stronger, prices move really nicely down through here. We're now accumulating some kind of position in here. This is the weekly time frame, so usually when you get these accumulations on a weekly, it's large institutions getting involved with the market. So if the price breaks to the upside, I think we could see some longs. That would take the oil prices to move lower. If the oil prices continue to move higher and head towards sort of $70 to $75, which is something that I've spoken about recently, then we could see a breakout of this area. And this is just a key area to watch. I think this could be one that I'll feature in the Forex market outlook. We'll do a little bit more research and talk about it next week. But those are the key levels that have been hit this week. I hope you had a great trading week, and I'll speak to you soon.